Hello, pleasure beings. This episode is inspired by my guide to pleasure toys and tools. So that is an ebook that I created when there was like a lot of confusion, misinformation, and shame around pleasure toys and the use of it when I started to review and explore pleasure toys in a lot more depth a few years ago. And I wanted to bring more clarity, more safety, confidence, and pleasure into the exploration of pleasure toys and tools. And I've also got an online course that is going into a lot more depth on the variety of pleasure toys and tools that are out there, and including how they work. And there's like a lot of information there because I've been reviewing pleasure toys for almost 4 years, 4 years. And I mean, I own now over 400 tools. They're all like stored in these cupboards and drawers and they're everywhere. I've also got an online course on how to become a pleasure toy reviewer because as one myself, becoming very successful, receiving multiple awards for the education and the reviews that I've been putting out, I thought, hey, I can teach others on how to make money with pleasure for pleasure. So if you're interested in that, you can access all of that at pleasurelit.com/links. So to this episode, whether you're new to pleasure toys and tools, if you just like to, dip your toes in and are curious about it, or if you've already started playing with them, this episode is for you. There will be a lot in there that will help you to play more confidently, more safely in how to get started, or how to have more pleasure in a safe way when you explore with toys and tools. But before we begin, because I'm already like going on and on and on, because I'm very passionate about all things pleasure related, how about we take a deep breath in through our nose, deep into our belly, and we sigh it out. Oh, I need one more. And deep breath in. Releasing it on the exhale. That felt better. Such a shift in energetics through the power of breath. One of my favorite tools to access and to get back into my body for pleasure. For this episode, let it be judgment-free. Let it be pressure-free. Pleasure gets to be safe. Pleasure gets to be informed. Pleasure is yours. And when I talk about pleasure toys and tools, I also want to remind you that those are not replacements for anyone, for human connection, because I got quite a lot of comments on my pleasure reviews that I've shared about, no one can, compete with these dildos or these toys and tools, or you won't need a man anymore, or they're not a replacement for human connection. They are a tool or a portal, really, for exploration, sensation, pleasure. And pleasure tools can support you by deeper body awareness, more confidence in your desires, exploring your own body, easier communication with your partners. It can be for stress release, nervous system regulation. And yes, they can also help you to experience pleasures in ways you might have never felt before. And some toys really awaken internal or different erogenous zones. They can support also hands-free pleasure. Some might be limited and restricted body-wise, for example. And tools could be really helpful for that. They can also help you with disabilities or sexual dysfunctions, or they're simply convenient when you're single or short on time. I mean, full-time single mom life, toys can be really convenient. And sometimes toys can also help you to slow down and feel again. They can be a portal to also feel more again. And when I speak about the pleasure toys and tools, sometimes I get, they're just for women. there's nothing for me here from a man's perspective. And I want to be clear here that pleasure toys and tools are for anyone, regardless of your gender, regardless of your relationship status, regardless of your sexual or pleasure orientation. It is your body. You are in charge of it. And you don't need permission from anyone else to explore your own pleasure with or without toys and tools. The only thing I would probably be a little bit more mindful about is your local laws, because yes, unfortunately, there are still countries out there where toys and tools are actually not allowed, forbidden, or there's like a number that you're only allowed to have. So please be careful in this regards. Age restriction, obviously, and then also when you are traveling with toys and tools, please check the country prior and also the stopover ones so you don't get in trouble for that. So there are a few things you still should be mindful about, but overall, they are for anyone regardless of anything else. Because your body is your pleasure is your body. So that is you, and it's your responsibility. When we talk about pleasure, we also want to talk about safety, because that was like the main one where I thought I need to create something, because when I started reviewing toys and tools, I really realized the pleasure toy tool industry is not regulated, which means only because you can see something online or in a shop doesn't necessarily mean it is body safe, doesn't necessarily mean it's safe to put in your body or on your body. I learned that. And when I speak about body safe or body safer, because nothing is like 100% safe, I would say, body safer, I mean non-toxic, non-porous. And what I mean by that is non-porous materials, they don't hold bacteria. They can actually be cleaned properly. And porous materials, even if they claim to be non-toxic, have still got these little tiny holes in there that you can't see with the eye. But over time, they trap these bacteria, your fluids, your juices in there, and then it grows something. And I wouldn't want to put that in my body, would you? So personally, what I've learned over time is what's body safer and what I should avoid. And I personally don't use any toys, and I also don't review any toys that are from the materials that I am avoiding. And I'm going to go through that with you. So I'm going to let you know what I'm avoiding and what I am going for, so you can make an informed decision for yourself as well. So materials, let's start with the materials to avoid. No, that I am personally not using, and I recommend to at least be very cautious with it. TPE, TPR, PVC, vinyl, rubber, jelly, gel materials, very realistic looking, weirdly pronounced names that sound maybe similar to silicone, but it's not silicone, and you maybe think, oh, maybe they've just like misspelled it. They haven't. If it sounds vague, if it sounds strange, trust your instinct. It's not safe. That is a big warning thing, and a learning lesson that I've learned. I've also ordered or received a request for a review once, for example, from someone who said, oh, would you like to review this? And I said, oh, okay, I'm going to choose this toy. Toy arrived. It was supposed to be a double monster dildo attached to each other in silicone. And when it arrived, when I opened the package, first of all, it had like a really weird smell. It was sticky, like sticky. I was like touching it, and I'm like, oh, that is not silicone. And there's a little test that you can do to have a look if it's really silicone, but I wouldn't really like recommend it unless you maybe are reviewing and want to make really sure that what the material is a material, because you kind of destroy the toy with it, which is like a burning test. But just alone the smell and the sticky icky was a sign for me that this is not silicone, because that's not supposed to be like this with silicone. It can have, some toys can have a little bit of a scent when they are manufactured and then straight away put in a box and sealed without actually having them aired out. So sometimes when this happens and you open one fresh, you can leave it out for a little bit, for a few hours, see if that smell's gone away. But yeah, that was a really strong yucky smell, and it was really icky, yucky, sticky. And I was just like, let's double check. And I've looked, there was written silicone on the internet website. Got in touch via email and I said, I just want to make sure of the material because this and this and this. Can you please confirm? Oh yeah, that is TPR or TP. And I'm like, you have written silicone on your website. So that is not right. That is a big fat lie. So straight away I said, I'm sorry, I'm going to chuck this one out in the bin. I'm not going to do your review and I'm going to put you on my blacklist because that is lying. So never spoken to them again. Body safer materials that I like to review, play with, use personally, recommend are 100% silicone. Could be medical grade silicone, could be 100% premium silicone. So there are kind of different names. They want to be like, it's better even than the normal silicone. It's silicone. As long as it's like really silicone and not some other weird pronounced name, or they say it is and then it isn't. Medical or surgical stainless steel, borosilicate glass, and ABS plastic, which is usually on an external part. So that's usually not what goes internally. So I don't like to use ABS plastic internally, but I have got no problems if that's externally on the toy for like the buttons, the handle, things like that. So that's fine for me because these materials are non-porous, easier to clean, and so much safer for long-term use. And while I talk about cleaning materials and their toys, so cleaning doesn't need to be complicated. Obviously, there are cleaning products out there. So you've got the toy cleaner products. Alert. Guess what? Even though it just says it's a toy cleaner, doesn't necessarily mean it is safe for your body. Learned that lesson too. I actually had one toy cleaner arriving. There was a big warning logo on there. And I'm just like, for a toy cleaner, for something that I'm going to clean something with that I'm going to put internally into myself, and then there's a warning sign thing on there. I don't think that's good. Researched the ingredients, had a bigger, down the rabbit hole, because once I'm in there, I'm just like, all right, now we're going to need to explore that. Realized the best method for cleaning, mild, soapy, warm water. Mild, soapy, warm water, fragrance-free. And that is usually sufficient. If, however, you've got like booty toys, for example, if there are certain materials and not electronic, so not butt vibrators, but rather stainless steel plugs, backdoor toys that are just purely silicone, you can also boil them to sterilize them. And that can be really helpful as well. But other than that, it's mild soapy warm water that I use. There is the occasional toy cleaner that might be good with natural ingredients, and sometimes it is good just for the peace of mind. Sometimes some are just like, I just need to use some other product to just feel good that I've cleaned it. For that reason, choose something that is actually then also safe to be used. So read the ingredients list and really make an informed decision there. And in regards to cleaning, clean before and after use, because even if you've cleaned it, stored it away, you want to clean it before you put it on your body or in your body, and in between as needed as well. Especially also if you are sharing toys, make sure you clean them or use condoms over it if you're going to share things around. So be really cautious in this regards as well. Let them fully dry. So first of all, fully clean as well. So some have I've got dildos that have got knobs on there, like tentacle dildos. You're going to have to go in the knobs, because if I'm just going to do it's going to sit in there. So cotton wool sticks, or sometimes you've got toys that you can take apart. Make sure that you clean those properly. Go in wherever you can go in to clean them. Then let them fully dry. I let them air dry, but I also have got specific towels that I use for them. So if I do want to tap them dry or not necessarily wipe them dry, I'm just using them normally to tap. There are also cleaning wipes that you can get. Again, make sure that they are actually safe to use. Look at the ingredients list and then inspect them before and after use. Before you use one, have a look. Does it have any odor, change of color? Is it actually working? Because obviously there are also toys like they're electric. Like I've got a pussy pump since it's electric. So if that's not working, but I am pumping it up and then it's like, it's not releasing, it's going to be a little bit, So make sure they are working as well and they're not broken. And if something feels off, looks funny, starts to discolor, throw it out. Be safe. Don't risk it. Get a new one. In regards to storing the toys, make sure they are, as I said, completely dry before you store them away so they don't start to get mold and grow bacteria as well. So fully dry. I'll leave them out to fully air dry for a few hours or the day, overnight. Judgment-free environment here. So they are just out and let them fully dry. And then you can place them in a cool, dark environment. So away from sunlight. A lot of them now come with storage bags. Make sure it is a breathable storage bag. If you put them in the storage bag that is provided, that it is like a breathable one. So I have them, most of them now in breathable storage bags. Then in my drawers, which is away from sunlight, it's cool, dark, and dry. Some of them don't come in storage bags, and then I have got them separate depending on the material. Silicone can be with silicone, stainless steel can be with stainless steel. With the silicone, I try to not mix the hard silicone with the soft silicone and also still keep them a little bit separate. They shouldn't melt together, but if you use materials such as like the jelly, I had like very, very long ago when I started using toys when I was a lot younger, before I started reviewing them. And I had no idea. I had one of these rabbit vibrators with gel and these little pearls in there, and it goes up and down and twists around. And it was made with gel, this clear purple gel. And I was backpacking here in Australia. It was 2010. And I had my bag of toys in there and I eventually got them out of the boot and opened it up and it was all a smush melted into each other. And I was just like, oh, and I had that in my body. So these materials that you should avoid, for example, can melt, can react with other materials. So you need to be cautious there as well. This is why I like to recommend the other materials and also, just store them appropriately. Now, in regards to lubricants, lubes, also a very high topic. First of all, lube is such a beautiful tool to include in your pleasure, regardless of you're using toys or not toys. Lube can bring that sliding, gliding, a pleasure experience. And there are different kind of loops available. Something also I did not know before I then started going down the rabbit hole. There are different types of lube. So we have got, for example, water-based lube, which is usually the most common one that you find around, the most affordable one from these lubes. They are mostly made with water, 95% water, I believe. And then you've got like 5% of like different ingredients. Again, though, only because it says it's a water-based lubricant doesn't necessarily mean it is safe for your body. You need to read the ingredients list. And within my online course, for example, I've got a big list of all the chemicals and materials, ingredients that you should avoid within lubes, cleaners, so you can really go through and have a double check and be like, okay, I can't say the chemicals right now because I've written them all out. And every time I get a lube and someone's like, yeah, Patricia, is that one safe? And I'm like, well, I need to get my list out first. Do you think I remember that? And then I'm comparing. I'm like, yeah, this, that. I've also got pH stripes. I went deep into it. And every time I then got a lube, also tested the pH because as women with a vulva, The pH of the vulva and the anus, for example, are different. And if we use a lube that has got a higher pH or lower pH, it stuffs up our pH. Our osmolarity as well can also stuff that up, and our whole flora. And when that is all stuffed up, we can get more bacterial infections and BVs and all of the other things. So it can irritate, it can burn, it can either that it dries you out or it extremely wets you and you get like swollen up. So if all of these reactions happen, that's your body speaking to you that whatever you're using is not right for you. If you're using a lube and out of a sudden you feel like burning or you've got some irritation going on, then it's not the right lube for you. Take note of the ingredients that you've used in that lube. Try a different lube. Highly suggest get my online course and go through it all and start really reading and looking at the ingredients list. So water-based lubes. Then we've got silicone lube. So that are the ones that are lasting longer. So they are specifically usually used for anal play as well, or if you are under the shower, because they've got a little bit of that more sticky sliding gliding. So they feel a bit stickier and they work great because they are lasting longer. Where if you use a water-based lube, you might have to reapply more often. So if you're saying like, oh, and I think I need more lube again, where with silicone you might need less, but that one also sticks more. So if you're using it in the bedroom, put some old towels underneath because you might struggle to get that out. Usually a little bit more expensive. Then there are also hybrid lubes. So that is a mix of the silicone and the water base. So they try to come up with something that is longer lasting than the water, but not as sticky as a silicone, trying to mix something, create something new. There's the silicone lubes also, they don't work with silicone toys. They can react and break down the material. So they're usually not recommended if you're using silicone toys. And then there are also oil-based lubes. They might feel delicious. They might have also essential oils in there and aphrodisiac. And as much as they are very sensual and very pleasure inviting, they don't work with condoms. And they also really shouldn't be used internally. They usually have a different compatibility, so they shouldn't be used internally. In the end, what I can say there, as you can already hear, that it sounds all very complicated, and it kind of can be. What's really important is that you just find something that works for your body. So your body will tell you if it feels good or if it doesn't feel good. And start to really become aware of the ingredients list and see what is working, what is not working, because pleasure should feel nourishing and not uncomfortable. Oh, let's take a deep breath in. And exhale. As you can hear, I'm very passionate about this topic because after the years of exploration, I've got very passionate about making pleasure more accessible, judgment-free, more open-minded, but also safer, so that we can really lean into exploring, really become more flowing with the pleasure and letting our body guide our way without worrying about what could go wrong. And when you now want to choose your favorite toy, because I get this question so many times now, okay, Patricia, after, with 400 pleasure toys and tools, what's the best toy? What's the best toy for men? What's the best toy for a woman? And my answer is always the same. There is no one best toy. There's only the right toy for you in this season of your life. Because we are changing, evolving all the time. You might be liking dildos right now. And I don't know, next month you start exploring anal play and you discover a stainless steel butt plug, that heavy, cold feeling in your butt, and it brings you extreme pleasure. And now your favorite toy is a stainless steel butt plug. Then you start exploring a penis pump or whatever it is. It can change over time. I have got a variety of favorite pleasure toys and tools. So when someone asks me, what's your favorite toys and tools? And I'm like, well, it depends on the pleasure that I am seeking or the pleasure that I would like to experience. I've got a favorite toy for anal. I've got a favorite toy for discrete play outdoors when I'm on a date or for remote controlled. I've got a favorite dildo. I've got a favorite kinky tool. I've got a favorite sensation play. But then also within sensation, I love restraining, but also enhancing. So there are different favorite pleasure toys and tools. And when you are interested in mine, the ones that I personally love and the ones that I also recommend, then you can explore and check them all out on my website, pleasurelit.com/links. And not just that, you can also find my exclusive discount codes there, so you don't have to pay full price. Because pleasure toys and tools can get quite an investment now as well. And this is also why I have been doing the reviews, so you can have a look in there. They're honest reviews as to what have I experienced and how. But then again, also reviews are very subjective. So it's my experience. This is how my body loves to experience pleasure. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the way for you to experience pleasure. So we all experience pleasure in a different way. But this is why I try to explain it when I do my reviews as well, how the experience was, and give a perspective from different angles so you can have a sneak and peek into it of like, oh yeah, well, that's something that I value. And she's talking about that it's good or not good. So then you get a little bit of an idea. If you just start about pleasure toys and tools to explore, you've got no idea, because I know it can get overwhelming. I mean, the first time I walked into a pleasure tool store in Germany, just when I was turning 18, and back then they were like really dark, so you couldn't see anything from the outside. It was like all black, and I opened the door first time I walked in, and I'm like, oh my god, what's gonna happen to me? And then it was like packed with all these crazy stuff, and I was just like, oh my god, this is overwhelming. I totally get it. And it doesn't seem to stop, because every time I thought I've seen it all, there comes something new, something exciting, like a spinner, a swirly, it's wild. I mean, in the best way, because the exploration just continues. Every time I tick something off my pleasure toy tool bucket list, a new one gets added that I've come across. So it never ends. So it can get quite overwhelming. I totally get that. Same when if you're going to the gym for the very first time. Start small. Start with something that does not feel intimidating, too big. Learned that lesson myself too. Ordering my first stainless steel butt plug, way too big. It was massive, because the eyes were bigger than what I could actually go for at start. Now I've got a variety from like small to big, but start small and you can build your way up. Start with something that doesn't feel intimidating, and also check in with yourself first about what kind of pleasure do you actually want to experience. Do you want to have something internally, externally, or maybe both? Do you value it has to be quiet, easy to navigate? Does it need to look a certain way? Pretty colors, or, anime style or fantasy dragon stuff? Does it need to be discreet? Like, one of my favorite necklace vibes. I also got the ring here, which you can access on my website with the discount code straight away there. Do you want to use it solo? Do you want to use it in partnered play? Do you want to enhance sensation? Do you want to restrict sensations? Like, tune into what would you actually like to explore? What do you value? What's important to you? What's maybe not so important? And then you can start out and go explore and have a look around what lands in your body. When you read something, when you look at it, how does it feel in your body? If it starts to restrict you and tighten you, it might not be the right toy for you. If it's something that excites you and you feel like that tingle of that body, yes, then you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm going to go for that one. So there are multiple ways on how you can start, but make sure it is something that really lights you up, where you feel a body yes. With all of that, I also get often asked, what do I do with my partner when I want to explore pleasure tools, but my partner doesn't want to? What can I do? So first of all, I would like to remind you that you should not manipulate or force anyone into anything. You don't convince, you invite in. First of all, have a conversation, an open, honest conversation about it. Because sometimes I hear these questions or asking about this when they actually haven't even talked about this topic to their partner. You don't know if they might have already explored pleasure toys and tools. You don't know if they've got a box hidden under the bed that they use in their personal time. You don't know it until you actually have an open, honest conversation about it. You don't need to start it straight away with, hey, how about we start using some toys? I'm looking at that big fantasy dildo. Take it down a notch. So make it inviting, that conversation. You could say, I've read something about this pleasure tool. What do you think about it? I have seen Patricia's pleasure toy review on the pleasure jewelry. What do you think about that? Would you be curious to explore that with me? Or have you explored pleasure toys and tools before? What's your perspective towards it? Make it an inviting conversation and then see where your partner is at, and don't pressure it. Just start the conversation and then let it sit. Sometimes you might have already thought about inviting pleasure tools for quite a long time before you start having that conversation. Your partner might have, for example, never heard about toys and tools or never thought about them. So inviting them in to just even sit with it, let them think about it, and then they can come back, and then you can reopen that conversation to see where you're at. If you want to explore something together, what would you like to explore together? Or is it something where you want to like explore separately and then bring it in later together? Just see where it's going to land. Consent, curiosity, and honesty is really, really important in this. Now, as you can hear, exploration and play are portals to pleasure. I actually talk about that within my best-selling book, The Pleasure-Lit Way, that pathway number 4 is exploration and play. And kinky tools, pleasure toys and tools are a part of that. So once you've set the foundation of your embodied self-love and self-care, once you have become more mindful, more conscious, more intentional, and also have developed a deeper connection to self, others, and life itself, you can bring in exploration and play to even deepen and widen your pleasure potential. Because that's what I'm helping you with, to alchemize numbness, disconnection, overgiving, blockages into pleasure-lit energy. So you can feel deeply connected to yourself, to your body, safe to receive pleasure, and lit from within. And exploration and play is a huge part of that, where you can find more pleasure through those portals. And if this sparked something in your body while I was speaking about exploration through toys and tools, then this is your invitation to go to pleasurelit.com, and you can choose your path to either awaken or deepen and widen your pleasure potential. When you liked this episode and it was helpful for you, please give my show a 5-star rating and also share this episode along so we can spread more pleasure into this world. Sending you lots of love and pleasure. Mwah.